You'll never prove it was me. Amanda's voice slithered through the speaker, laced with smug satisfaction. Everyone knows you're just jealous because I'm the favorite daughter-in-law now. Good luck explaining this to the family. I stared at the loan documents spread across my desk, my pulse pounding against my ribs. $75,000. Taken out in my name. The signature, almost perfect, wasn't mine, but close enough to fool anyone who wasn't trained to spot forgeries. My name is Olivia Parker, and at 32, I had just discovered my sister-in-law had stolen my identity. Amanda, I said, forcing my voice into a measured calm. Years of professional training clicked into place. Taking out a loan in someone else's name, that's identity theft, a federal crime. She laughed, sharp and mocking. Oh please, no one's going to believe you. I've already told everyone you're making up lies because you're bitter. Even Mark thinks you're just being paranoid. Mark, my husband of 5 years, forever caught between keeping the peace and ignoring the obvious. Amanda had burrowed into our lives like a parasite after her divorce 6 months ago. Hovering, snooping, feigning concern about our finances while rifling through our mail when she thought we weren't looking. Besides, he added sweetly, the money's gone. Spent. What are you going to do about it? Amanda had no idea who she was dealing with. 15 years in digital forensics for major financial institutions meant I'd seen it all. Fraud, forgery, financial manipulation. I knew how these schemes played out. More importantly, I knew how to dismantle them. Thanks for letting me know, I said smoothly, my thumb tapping the record button on my phone. Anything else you'd like to confess? Oh, getting all formal now. Fine. I took the loan because I deserve it more than you do. You're just a boring office worker. I'm trying to build something for myself. The family understands. They'll side with me, not you. I ended the call, exhaling slowly. Then I got to work. Opening my laptop, I accessed the secure system my team used to investigate financial fraud. The loan application had been submitted online. Amateur move. Every digital footprint, every IP address, every keystroke left a trail. I followed it. Within the hour, I had my evidence. The application had been submitted from Amanda's apartment. My stolen social security number, her own email as a secondary contact. Sloppy, textbook identity theft. My phone buzzed. Mark. Liv, Amanda just called me crying, he started, his voice tight with concern. She says you're accusing her of something. You know she's been struggling since the divorce. Mark, I cut in, steady but firm. Come home. Now, there's something you need to see. Can't this wait? She's really upset. No, it can't. Your sister took out a $75,000 loan in my name. I have proof. Silence. Then finally, a hesitant. I'll be home in 20 minutes. While I waited, I fortified my case. Loan records, deposit trails, email confirmations. I secured the call recording in multiple locations. There would be no wiggle room. Mark walked in looking pale. I met his gaze, then silently turned the laptop screen toward him. He scanned the documents. The color drained from his face. She really did this. Because she thought she could get away with it, I said. Because she thought I was just a boring office worker who wouldn't fight back. He sank into the chair, running a hand through his hair. What are you going to do? I pulled up the official fraud report, my finger hovering over the submit button. My job. I've spent my career helping people recover from identity theft. I'm not about to become a victim of it. She'll turn the family against us, he whispered. She can try, I said, pressing the button. But unlike Amanda, I know exactly what I'm doing. The wheels were in motion. By Monday morning, the bank's fraud team would have everything they needed. Amanda had underestimated me. Badly. One final message lit up my phone screen. Hope you're not too upset about the loan. Maybe this will teach you to be more generous with family. I smiled, took a screenshot, and added it to my evidence file. Amanda had just made the worst mistake of her life, and she didn't even know it yet. Monday morning, I arrived at work earlier than usual. The sun barely touched the blast towers of downtown, and the air inside the fraud investigation department on the 23rd floor felt crisp with anticipation. Before I even settled into my chair, my phone buzzed violently. Amanda. What did you do? Her frantic text filled my screen. The bank just called me about suspicious activity on the loan. Fix this now. I silenced my phone and pulled at the case file I'd submitted. Every piece of evidence was airtight: IP addresses, timestamps, email trails, even her own arrogant boasts. Within hours, the department confirmed what I already knew. Amanda was guilty. The bank had frozen the remaining loan funds in her account. A knock at my door. "Mrs. Parker?" My colleague James peered in. "The police investigator is here to discuss the identity theft case you reported." Detective Miller, a seasoned professional with sharp eyes and a sharper instinct, flipped through my report, nodding as she reached the attached recording. "This is one of the most clear-cut cases I've seen," she said, making notes. "Your sister-in-law wasn't exactly subtle, was she?" "She never thought she had to be," I replied. "She assumed I was just some office worker who wouldn't know how to fight back." My phone vibrated again. This time, messages from Mark's parents. "How dare you accuse Amanda of theft? She's family. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us." Mark needs to control his wife. Control me? Interesting choice of words. By the time I got home that evening, Mark sat in the dark living room, his face shadowed with exhaustion. "Amanda's been crying all day," he murmured. "She says she'll lose everything if you don't drop the case. Mom and Dad, they're furious." I sat beside him, took his hand. "Mark, your sister committed fraud. She stole my identity, took out a massive loan, and laughed about it. What exactly do you expect me to do? Couldn't we just handle this privately? As a family?" His voice was almost pleading. I let out a slow breath. "Like when she borrowed your parents' credit cards, or when she accidentally opened accounts in your name." His expression told me he hadn't wanted to remember those. "This is why she keeps doing it, because no one ever stops her." Before he could answer, the doorbell rang. I checked the security camera. Amanda. Her makeup was streaked, her face blotchy with tears. "Please," she begged, looking directly into the camera. "Just let me explain." I opened the door but didn't move aside. When she tried to push past me, I stood firm. "The bank froze everything," she wailed. "They're saying it's fraud. You have to tell them it was a mistake." "A mistake?" I tilted my head. "Was it a mistake when you stole my identity? When you bragged that I'd never prove it was you?" Her sobs stopped like a switch had flipped. Her face twisted into something uglier, something more familiar. "You stuck-up bitch," she spat. "You think you're so much better than everyone with your fancy job? Guess what? The family will never forgive you for this. You'll always be the outsider who tried to destroy their daughter." I pulled out my phone and pressed record. "Is that a threat, Amanda?" She blinked. Then slowly she noticed the security camera above us. Noticed my steady grip on the phone. Noticed for the first time that she wasn't in control. Her voice dropped. What exactly do you do at the bank?" I smiled. "I investigate financial fraud and identity theft, and I'm very, very good at it." "So Amanda, would you like to explain again how you got my social security number?" The blood drained from her face. Behind me, Mark exhaled as if waking up from a long, heavy sleep. "You've been playing us all along," Amanda whispered, acting like some boring pencil pusher when really I was just doing my job. I finished for her. "Speaking of which, Detective Miller will be in touch soon. She'd love to hear your side of the story." Amanda stood frozen, speechless for the first time in her life. I shut the door, and for the first time in her life, she was alone with the consequences of her own actions. The aftermath of Amanda's identity theft swept through the family like a storm, tearing apart long-held illusions. Detective Miller moved swiftly, assembling an airtight case from my evidence. 3 days later, Amanda was arrested, and just like that, the carefully maintained facade of family unity crumbled. I was in my office, reviewing the final case report, when Mark's mother called. "We found more loans," she admitted, her voice stripped of its usual confidence. "In James's name. In ours. Amanda's been doing this for years. We never wanted to believe it." The investigation uncovered a pattern stretching back nearly a decade. Amanda had stolen almost $200,000 from family members, always spinning herself as the victim, always relying on their loyalty to shield her from consequences. Mark stood by me through the proceedings, seeing his sister clearly for the first time. One night, as we sat on the back porch, he exhaled a long, heavy breath. "I enabled her," he admitted. "We all did. Every time we covered for her, We made it easier for her to hurt someone else. Amanda took a plea deal, 5 years of probation, mandatory financial counseling, and a court-ordered repayment plan. But the family's response was what surprised me most. During a small, subdued family dinner, my father-in-law set down his fork and looked me in the eye. "We owe you an apology," he said. "When Amanda called you vindictive, we believed her, because it was easier than facing the truth. You didn't just protect yourself. You forced us to face something we should have confronted years ago." The table was quieter than usual. Amanda's empty chair was a stark reminder of all the years they'd ignored the signs, the times they'd made excuses, but there was also something new in the air: honesty. "I found more evidence," my mother-in-law murmured, hands tightening around her coffee cup. "Old bank statements, times when money went missing, when things didn't add up. We always convinced ourselves it was a mistake. We never wanted to see what was right in front of us." Under the table, Mark squeezed my hand. Small gestures of gratitude had become his way of showing me how much had changed. Our marriage, once defined by unspoken tensions, had strengthened. No more pretense, no more avoidance. Just truth. 3 months after Amanda's arrest, I found an envelope in the mail. The handwriting was familiar, but shakier than before. "Dear Olivia," it began. "I've spent a lot of time in counseling trying to understand why I did what I did. The easy answer is money. But the truth? I resented you. You built your success the right way while I was always looking for shortcuts. Telling myself you were boring and plain was easier than admitting I was jealous. I'm sorry, not just for stealing from you, but for every time I tried to tear you down to make myself feel bigger." I handed the letter to Mark, watching his face as he absorbed his sister's words. "She's finally getting help," he murmured. "Real help. Not just excuses and cover-ups." The family began to heal slowly and deliberately. Weekly dinners resumed, but this time, conversations were more honest. My in-laws started therapy, learning to acknowledge their mistakes, to set boundaries, to rebuild trust piece by piece. A year later, I stood before an audience, accepting my promotion as head of the fraud investigation department. Looking out, I saw my family, Mark beaming, my in-laws watching with quiet pride. Even Amanda's absence no longer felt like a wound, but a marker of the past we had finally faced. Sometimes, I told the crowd, the hardest frauds to uncover are the ones hidden behind family loyalty. But true loyalty isn't about silence. It's about having the courage to stop someone you love from hurting themselves and others. After the ceremony, my mother-in-law hugged me tightly. "You saved our family," she whispered, "not by catching Amanda, but by showing us we needed to change." That evening, as Mark and I walked home through the city, he suddenly stopped. "You know what Amanda told me yesterday," he said. "She said that, in a weird way, you did her the biggest favor of her life. Getting caught, finally facing consequences, it's the first time she's had to really look at herself." I squeezed his hand. "Sometimes," I said, "the kindest thing you can do for someone is to stop protecting them from themselves." The city lights glowed around us, and for the first time in a long while, I felt at peace. The truth hadn't destroyed this family as Amanda had once threatened. It had made it stronger.